If you are looking to completely transform and reset your life in 2023, you have come to the right place. The first step in this New Year reset process is reflection. I recently watched a really good video on YouTube. It's by Elizabeth Phillips, and it's her How to Live, One Life Formula from 620 Hours of Psychotherapy. She mentioned this quote, "The one who notices is already free." Having awareness of the habits and mindsets you have that made 2022 a successful year or an unsuccessful year is so important, because just as human nature, we have tendencies that tend to attract us to unhealthy things, unhealthy people, unhealthy habits, but it's also equally as important to reflect on the wins you had this year and what contributed to those, because I think you can learn a lot from your failures, but also a lot from your successes. This is one of the reflection exercises from Lavendaire Artist of Life workbook. So you're supposed to sum up in a sentence, 2022 was the year that I blank. For me, 2022 was the year that I healed my soul and my relationships. 2022 allowed me to disconnect my identity and worth from my achievements, although it's still something I struggle with and not perfect. I think it's also so crucial to list the people that you're grateful for from your year, because I feel like when you evaluate your year, it's not only about your personal achievements and stuff, but it's the relationships that you had and if they were rich or not. Also, experiences, your accomplishments, and game changers. So game changers are like new habits you began implementing, or just certain things that you love that are like, this has really improved my quality of life. And life lessons. There's 3 more questions that I highly recommend that you guys reflect on. These are really powerful. First, how have my core values changed this year? Second, in what areas of my life have I been making excuses in? 3, what parts of this year have felt the most full of self-growth? What did I do during those periods that was different from the rest of the year? So to show you guys kind of how to do this and what this looks like practically, I will share some of my reflections from 2022 and answers to these questions. A couple of the accomplishments I'm proud of from 2022 was launching my live cohort-based coaching program, the high performance student program, and also I started learning Spanish and Portuguese, and I've drastically improved my Mandarin, so that has just been such a rewarding process. Life lessons. There is something so safe and healthy about same age friendships. Never stop investing in them. I think I definitely naturally will gravitate towards older people, and older people will gravitate towards me, but I do think that there's so much value in having a really strong friend group that is your age, and that's something I've really invested in this year. I don't feel like I always need to be around people who are more mature, because sometimes for me, I would see it as a self-development opportunity. I'm like, oh, I get to learn from older people, which I think is so valuable, but also I think it's equally as valuable to have peers my age. Second, vulnerability is strength. 3, for most things, showing up consistently is more important than deep focus. 4, have clear boundaries with people, even when you think you don't need them. Financial aptitude is important. Trust God with your self-improvement. I would say my core values have changed a lot this year. Studying has actually become a lot more important to me. Before, I feel like I criticized traditional education a lot. And yes, traditional education does have its flaws, but I've also been able to see how studying is such a good thing for my character development, and also just honoring my parents, because that's something they value too. Also, health has become a main priority. I feel like I used to let my health just fall to the wayside. Whenever I had a big project or whatever, I would just stop going to the gym, stop eating healthy, stop seeing it as a priority. But now I feel like health has really become more of my lifestyle, mindful eating, and it doesn't just ebb and flow in a way that's dependent on my workload. And lastly, I feel like I've learned to value friendships a lot more than romantic relationships. I think right now in this season of my life, friendship development is just so important. And for the question of what areas of my life have I been making excuses in, I actually made a list of this. Social media content creation, meal prep / eating intentionally, skincare, consistently studying my Bible, time blocking intentionally, personal finance accounting, and economics knowledge. This question has so much power in it, because I noticed that after I asked this question and wrote everything down, all these areas I've drastically improved in, even just in December and this last week, because I've created awareness of what things I've been making excuses in. So I've just noticed my behavior has changed. So I think that's why reflection is so important, because when you have a heightened awareness, your behavior will change. And on the last question about which parts of this year were most filled with self-development and self-growth, I would definitely say from June to December of this year. It's felt so much longer than the first half of the year. I think it's a great thing when a year feels long, like in a good way. I think a year will feel longer when there's so much more novelty. You had all these new experiences, because when you look back at your year, it doesn't seem like everything just passed by super fast. And to me, if it feels like your year has passed by really fast, that's an indicator that there wasn't that much novelty or there wasn't that much growth. I think my January to June passed by really fast, or it just kind of just felt like a blur, because I was doing the same thing every day. I was not really focused on my relationships. I wasn't very vulnerable with people, so that also cut off a lot of aspects of my self-growth. But from June to December, I feel like I really started opening up about my weaknesses, growing closer in relationships, and also learning diverse skills. Once I started learning different languages, that was so fun. Opened me up to a lot of different cultural experiences. I think I took more time to rest and pause, and that is so important, because the more time or the more breaks you take, I think you get to reflect more and come back stronger. And guys, I have a surprise for you. So in this video, one of my best friends, Elizabeth, she also makes videos, Elizabeth Chu on YouTube. She is going to be teaching you guys about how she goes about goal setting. Guys, this girl is literally just like a queen. I had to have her in this video. So let's hear about how Elizabeth is setting her New Year's goals.
Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth. You might know me as Elizabeth Chu on IG or Elizabeth Chu here on YouTube. And thank you, Annie, for giving me the space to talk to you guys about goal setting. Let's dive deep into how to set goals and execute them. So there are 3 key components to setting goals. Let's call them the 3 key components to goal setting. Number 1 is that when you're setting goals, you have to be very clear about the content of your goals. What is the goal? Why is this even a goal? And why is it important to you? When we connect our goal to a deeper reason, we are building a strong bond between the want and the doing. That leads us into our second component, which is taking the initial step. I tell people and myself this all the time. Don't worry if you don't have a plan. It's okay to not know what to do. I actually believe it's a good thing, because if you couldn't tell already, life always has other plans. It is helpful to have a general idea of which elements and factors can help you achieve your goals, but don't focus on too much of the planning. Instead, focus on confidently knowing what you want and taking the initial step. Every action has an equal reaction, so once you get the ball rolling, the snowball effect will come into play and you'll be close to your goals in no time. Our third component is execution. It's very normal to think that we need strategy in order to execute, but we actually don't. Yes, strategy is very important for further growth, but strategy is only helpful if we have a base to build strategy on, and that base is our execution. Now, I have 3 tips for you on how to apply these 3 key components to your goals. First things first, like previously mentioned, you must know your goals, so get to know your goals. Write them down and create a visual guide of what your goals are. Our goals are too important to be mixed in with our other thoughts, so writing them down will help extract your most valuable ideas into visual guides that can help you track your progress. Understand that the brain is for processing, not remembering everything. Okay, I personally love the next tip, and it is to make it fun. In June of 2021, I embarked on a no plan B journey. I gave myself 6 months to achieve my goals, which were overcoming self-doubt, breaking habits of mediocrity, making 6 new friends, and launching my business. Annie was actually the inspiration behind that entire journey. And I made that journey really fun by giving it a really fun name and documenting it on social media. I even had people join me and we created this really fun small community. All of this made the pursuit of my goals very exciting and motivating. So when it comes to setting goals and executing them, make it fun, make it a journey. It's also a great way to stay accountable and prevent burnouts. My third tip is the most important tip, and it is to document and track your goals. The whole idea of goal setting is like a game. In order to achieve your goals, you must know where you are in the journey, so you know which step to take next. During my No Plan B journey, I created a Notion page where I collected my thoughts, my ideas, knowledge, and reflections that I had or came across throughout the journey. And it was very beneficial for me to see where I was in the journey and what contributed to my growth. From that journey itself, I learned that I can achieve anything I put my mind to. So for the new year, I'm actually embarking on a new journey. Annie is joining me too, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be on board with us. It is called an absolute all journey, where we will be giving our absolute all in everything for a year. You will operate at a level 10 with uninterrupted focus and making zero excuses. And you will be brave when doing things that scare you and rising above your limiting thoughts. So after my No Plan B journey ended, I didn't really have an idea of what I was going to do next. I was just gonna see where life would take me. And very randomly, I came across an IG reel where it talked about what would happen if you gave your absolute all for 1 year. And so I got curious and I wondered, what would happen if I gave my absolute all for 1 year? And so that is how this journey transpired into the thing that it is today, and hopefully the journey that we're gonna embark on together. An absolute all journey is about changing your life. Your goals are possible because if others can do it, you can do it too. And even if others can't, you can still do it. And to help you achieve your goals, I created an absolute all journey Notion template for you to use to document and track your progress. Like I said, you must know where you are in your journey to know how to move forward. The Notion page contains useful features such as a goal progress scoreboard where you can track your goals, a thought audit section for self-therapy, a knowledge nook to record learnings, and so much more. 2023 is your year. Give your all for 1 year, just one, and you will thank yourself for a lifetime. An absolute all journey is going to change your life, and here's why. You're going to turn your life 180 in 365 days. This journey is going to be a journey where you have to be hard on yourself, but also very kind and generous and loving. In the same way that's going to be intense on how we work on ourselves, we're going to also be very intense with how we take care of our body, mind, and soul.
So you guys can find the Absolute All Journey Notion template in the description. All the proceeds from the Notion template will be going to the Connect Caribbean Mission Scholarship Fund that is launching in 2023. So the Connect Caribbean Mission supports families in poverty in Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. The Connect Caribbean Mission is currently supporting several high school students that are going to be graduating soon, and they want to go to college but they can't afford to. Hearing about the mission made me realize what a privilege it is to be able to set all these 2023 goals related to my education and things I want to achieve, and only having a lack of discipline be in the way of those goals, not a lack of resources. Your purchase of an Absolute All Journey template that will help you transform your life in 2023 will help Dominican high school students reach their goals. When I first heard about an Absolute All Journey from Elizabeth, I was a little hesitant if I could do it. I was like, go off, Elizabeth, but I don't know, am I gonna get burnt out, and just a lot of concerns on can I actually do this? Should I actually do this? But I did realize that 2023 is actually a really important year for me. So I'm currently a junior in high school, and 2023 will be the year I finish my junior year, apply to universities, and that is pretty significant. I feel like if there's any year to grind, it is this one. And also addressing the concerns about burnout, I realized if I put my absolute all into all areas of my life, that also includes making sure I'm getting sufficient sleep and also that I'm hanging out with friends. Something I've struggled with in the past is prioritizing one area of my life above all the rest, and that's academics, achievements. So I'm really going to be trying to put my absolute all in all areas. So I made my own copy of the template, and what I wrote about the journey was, this year, I'm going to see how fulfilled I can be by putting my all into my faith, family, friends, academics, health, and creative work. I'm excited to see how the challenges I'll face to stay disciplined form me as a person. Also, I can't wait to see the fruit that comes out of this journey. So my specific goals, I have 2 sections of goals for this journey. I have primary goals and secondary goals. My primary goals are to turn in college applications that I'm proud of, join a healthy, flourishing small group at my church. 3rd, make healthy choices with my food and exercise 95% of the time, and post radically impactful YouTube videos on a consistent basis. And my secondary goals are to go to a summer program that puts me out of my comfort zone personally and academically, grow in knowledge in economics and personal finance, read a couple classic literature books, and get conversationally fluent in Portuguese and Mandarin. A question that was looming over my head while I was filling out the Absolute All Journey Notion template was, how do I actually execute this? How do I have the discipline to actually stick with it? And how do I stay accountable? Because I want you to just reflect, what goals did you set last year? And to what degree have you achieved them, And that will tell you a lot about your ability to execute and follow through on those goals. And people will have different reasons for struggling with execution. So I would say the most common one is a lack of discipline and just having motivation that's a a short fuse. And that's what I love about like the Absolute All Journey template, because there's journal entry templates for each month that allow you to reflect and consistently document your journey instead of it just being like I have a list of my goals. And the second reason why I think people struggle with their execution of their goals, and this is definitely what I've struggled with, is emphasizing one goal at the detriment of others. Because usually in the new year, people set like health, academic, like work goals, but a lot of the times people don't actually reach all of them because they just idolize one over the other. And what I'm doing personally to like hedge against this is involving God in my journey. Like, I am a Christian, and just like praying about my goals and being like, is this actually like a goal that God is calling me to have? And also telling my friends like the toxic tendencies I have. I told my friend recently, we were in the car, and I was like, please, if you see me starting to like have signs of burnout or be emphasizing like my intellectual goals so much more than relationships, like please call me out. I give you permission beforehand to do that. I also think that in improving your ability to execute, having a greater sense of purpose is so important. So I have a lot of goals for the Absolute All Journey related to academics and to college applications next year. And I used to see like the whole idea of college applications as a very just like terrible experience or something that was super painful. But I'm actually really excited for college now, and to be in an environment where my intellectual curiosity is so appreciated, like somewhere I can just thrive. And that's made me so much more excited. I want to steward what God has given me. For instance, I've been so blessed to, for instance, have the financial resources to go to university, go to a good high school. And these are things that a lot of the high schoolers in the Dominican Republic don't have access to. A Bible verse that really sticks out to me when it comes to grinding at the right times, it's Proverbs chapter 20 verse 4. It says, "Those too lazy to plow in the right season will have no food at the harvest." I think this just applies so well when it comes to college applications. So I'm really just trying to plow at the right time. And my next tip is that you shouldn't treat this as a challenge, but as your new lifestyle if you're taking on the Absolute All Journey. I think sometimes when we have the mindset like, oh, this is a challenge, in the back of our mind, we're like, how long can this really last? And I feel like that's a mindset that already is going to set you up for failure. I don't think one's work capacity is set. I think that it can increase and decrease in different seasons of life depending on your mindset and your habits. For instance, someone could look at Elizabeth's lifestyle and think that her daily life is like so like hyper productive, or like a that girl, routine. But when it becomes your normal, it's not really like a self-development challenge. You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle. It becomes an identity. Just like viewing your goals and your new habits and routines as part of your identity and just something that you do is gonna give you the right mindset and like frame for actually sticking with it. Also, it's totally okay to gradually accelerate the intensity to which you pursue your goals in the new year. Like, I don't think it's a great idea, like January 1st, to all of a sudden change everything and expect yourself to stick with that. As I said before, this year is like a long distance run, and you can start off a little slower in the beginning. Don't be afraid to pace yourself. I think consistency, if you can stick with this for the year, like that's so much better than going super intense and then pursuing your goal so intensely and then breaking down. Also, make sure you don't spend too much time planning. I think that a lot of the times an excess of planning leads to no execution. For instance, after I filled out my Absolute All Journey on the Notion page, one of my goals, was to increase in my finance and economics knowledge. And I could just leave that there and continue to make my Notion page more pretty, but I decided I wrote down this goal. Let me get ahead of it now in December, So then I started reading an economics book, taking notes on it. So that's just kind of an example. Like, if you set your mind to something, just try to start right away. Because a lot of the times I think people overthink things and never get to the actual execution. And lastly, and this specifically applies to if you still live with your parents, is get your parents on board and get your family on board to what you want to do in the new year, especially if you're going to be making a lot of lifestyle changes. Sometimes it causes conflict in families, and I think especially if you still live in your parents' house, just making them aware of like, this is what I'm setting out to do will also keep you accountable and reduce conflict. Those are my specific tips on execution, and now Elizabeth will be sharing hers.
So, how do we execute our goals? That is the most important aspect of it, right? Well, there are a few things that you should keep in mind that will help you perform at peak execution. One mistake we all make is relying too much on our willpower. Sure, having strong willpower is beneficial, but it won't get you far. What you need is accountability. Annie is actually my accountability partner. She started this thing where we have to send each other money if we fail to execute a promise we made. For example, if I did not work out like I said I will have to send her $20, and that incentivizes me to work out because I don't want to lose $20. The best thing you can do is rely on accountability, because the last thing you want to do is to break a promise you made to yourself and others. A crucial aspect to execution is being nimble. As we all know, life always has other plans. So if something doesn't go your way, and that will happen, be flexible and move with the change. Define yourself as a verb and let life take you where you want to go. Sure, life always has other plans, but life also always has better plans. So know your goals and be accepting of the turns of the journey. Okay, what I'm about to say next is extremely important, so listen mindfully. In order to execute, you need mental strength. We often focus on the externality of a goal and the end external results, but goals are actually very internal. You need awareness to know what you want, you need discipline to stay consistent, and you need resilience to be unstoppable. These are all mental elements. So when it comes to executing your goals, do the mental work and focus on the internal growth. And internal growth can be a goal. If you lack discipline, make it a goal to strengthen it. If you lack focus, then make it a goal to increase your attention span. If you lack confidence, then make it a goal to build that self-esteem. We need mental strength to believe in our goals and face our fears, which are essential to the pursuit of our goals. The last thing I want to share is to set up systems that track your executions. This is also another form of accountability. Pursuing our goals is like playing a game. You have a scoreboard where it analyzes your strengths and weaknesses, it shows your ranking, and it tracks your progress. I always use a set of systems and scoreboards to track my progress. And for the new year, I'll be using the Absolute All Journey Notion page as my systematic scoreboard. And I highly recommend you guys to do the same as well, because you must know where you are in the journey to know how to execute. I would love for you guys to join Annie and me on the Absolute All Journey. It is time to build the life you love.
Thank you so much for watching. If you guys genuinely execute on what's been talked about on this video, I promise you will be set up well to transform your life in this next year. Also, don't forget to check out the Notion template in the description. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next one.